George has been into cars since he was 17 years old. Lots of muscle cars. He's had, this is a picture of a Camaro here. He's had several Firebirds. He's had a 95 Firehawk, GTA, regular Trans Am. He's had several Fox body cars, a couple 86 GTs. He's had a 89 LX, a 90 LX, 89 GT. So a bunch of Fox bodies. He's also had a bunch of Buicks, some of the Grand Nationals, the T-Types, Pontiacs. So he's not just a Ford guy, which is great. I love all the American muscle cars. And he still has a Firebird Formula, a 92 350 that he's rebuilding. And so you'll see pictures of that car. You can see his Mustang in the background in this garage, and you can see he's got that project. But he's had a lot of Mustangs too, and he's had a 2014 Mustang, a Coyote 5-liter. So he's had some of the newer muscle cars like that, and he even had a black '04 Mustang Cobra. So pretty cool that he's had a Terminator. He's also had a Mach 1 that's not pictured here, and he had this 2002 Mustang GT. Very good looking car. I like that a lot. George was really lucky to find this 2004 Competition Orange Mustang GT. It was in Tampa, Florida, and it only had 35,000 miles on it. It was actually owned by a body shop supplier owner, and when he bought the car, he was actually able to pick it up for $9,000, and it was in super nice shape. The only complaint he had was that the bumper covers on the car were a little bit off, and with Competition Orange that usually happens when they see a little bit of sun. The bumpers fade first more than anything. He also said the tint was kind of purple, which would also be an indicator that the tint was getting old. Maybe it's seen some sun and so it was starting to fade, especially being in Florida where it was probably a lot warmer and probably saw some sun. So cool to see this Competition Orange Mustang GT. I've seen a handful of these in person, and usually the ones I've seen have been pretty faded and pretty worn out, and it's nice to see a good looking one like this. I really like this GT. It's very basic with the painted wheels and the cloth interior and a 5-speed. I love the color of the interior. I think it's a great combination, and I really like those cloth seats. I think they're very comfortable. And speaking of interior, he did something really cool. He actually got a set of interior upgrade package larger headrests, and he had them recovered because they were the parchment color, kind of a beige color, and he had them recovered in the fabric that matched the original ones. And so here's a little picture of the original shorter headrests, and now he has the adjustable tilt bigger headrests, which I think look fantastic in these cars, and I think that was a really good move. You know, they actually made some of these in fabric like this on some of the V6 Mustangs. I think there were even GTs that came with cloth interior that actually had those same headrests. Very interesting. But he has totally kicked off the interior with the best look for these seats to have the big headrests on there. Very nice, very comfortable, very good looking. So I really like that he's done that. Now, on a side note, he did recently see this Competition Orange Mustang New Edge driving around. I would say it looks like a GT judging by the rear bumper, but it doesn't have the GT badge on it. So there's a possibility this is a V6 with a GT rear bumper and dual exhaust conversion. Or it could be a GT that's just missing the badge. But regardless, it's pretty cool that he had this on his Instagram. He had seen this orange Mustang driving around, and you just really don't see a lot of these cars. So really cool to see that. But speaking of his car, he had mentioned that the bumpers were a little faded, and something he really wanted to do was get those repainted. So he repainted the rear bumper cover, which looks great. Great choice with that. I think that's the way to go. And he also got a Celine rear spoiler, and I think that is also an awesome thing to do with the GT. I wouldn't do it to a Terminator or a Mach 1 or a Bullet, but a GT definitely looks great with that spoiler, and that's a choice that I would have made as well. As a matter of fact, as we continue to look at this car, you'll notice there's a lot of really great things he's done, and I have thought a lot about this car over the last year or so, and I thought, you know, this is exactly how I would have made a GT. So we'll keep getting into what he's done to it, but so far so good. Love the rear bumper cover, sticking with the GT one. Love the Saline rear spoiler. I think that looks phenomenal. Love the exhaust. So he has the SLP exhaust on there. That was already on the car when he bought it, but he's decided to keep it there. And I love the exhaust tips on the SLPs. They fill up the bumper cover perfectly. I think they're a great looking exhaust tip, and they're a great sounding muffler as well. SLP, MagnaFlow MagnaPacks, and Borless Stingers are my three top choices for these cars. There are some other neat ones like SSS and some other ones that sound very similar, but I think this is a great way to go, and I think the car sounds great. That's one of my favorite things about this car. Now, as far as the front bumper cover goes, he decided to go ahead and get a Roush one, and I really like this Roush Stage 3 front bumper cover. I think it's very underrated. A lot of people like the 99-01 Cobra bumpers, and a lot of people forget about these Roush bumpers, but I think this is a very good looking bumper cover. And when I was thinking about how I would make the ultimate GT, I considered this same front bumper cover, leaving the stock hood with the hood scoop on it, and then of course doing the Celine spoiler in the back like we've talked about. So this car is set up exactly how I would like it as far as the appearance goes. And as we've been looking at the pictures of this car, I know you've noticed those wheels because they stand out a lot. I really like those. They're the SVE wheels. I believe they're the Series 1 wheels. I might be mistaken, but I've really liked the SVE Series 1 wheels. And they're a gold color, but they're staggered. They have 285 35 ZR18s in the back and 265 35 ZR18s up front with Nitto tires. So the car looks fantastic. I think it has a great stance. I think the color looks good. I think the spoiler's right. I think he's done a really great job making it look good, keeping the GT rear bumper, stuff like that. So the car looks really good, and there was one more thing that he wanted to do to it appearance-wise that I think was a great modification. A lot of people want this, and it's really expensive. It's hard to find. It's the Cobra Terminator folding mirrors. So he had just recently got these on. He's had them for like 3 years, but he finally put them on the car. So now it really sets the car off. It looks really good. So this is his daily driver, which I applaud. I think it's great to have a car that you love so much, you enjoy, and you get to use all the time. That's the car you build a lot of memories in. But he was saying that the 265 horsepower the car had was pretty decent, but it was not nice when you get beat up by a newer Infiniti or something else on the road that's just making more power these days. And so he definitely wanted to add some power to this drivetrain. He said he must have changed his mind 100 times before he finally settled on what he wanted to do. He looked at a heads and cams package, he looked at a Vortex supercharger kit, he even looked a little bit at the Hellion turbo kit, but finally he made the choice, which I agree with. I think he made the best choice in this case, and he got a Kenne Bell 2.1 big bore twin screw intercooled kit. So this is a Kenne Bell supercharger, and it did take him 3 months to get it because of the back orders and everything, but it was well worth the wait. So he has the classic Kenne Bell whine now with lots of power. It's a very good setup. I like my Torque Tech kit as well, so I'm not saying one is better than the other. I think they're both great kits to have. They both have their advantages. I think this is a very good cut and dry, easy to install, perfectly good working kit that's designed for the car, and it's going to be something that's just great power all around. I do like that the Torque Tech kit has dual belt system, but this Kenne Bell kit is also very proven, and it makes very good power. These Kenne Bell kits are nice too because they have instant torque. They're a twin screw kit. As soon as you put your foot down, it makes power, it makes torque. 3,000 RPM, it's making huge amounts of torque, over 500 foot-pounds of torque. So just a lot of really cool things about that kit that I like. My friends had them, I've ridden in them. I think they're really great. So I think it's just really awesome to have a competition orange Mustang GT with a Kenne Bell kit on it. Appearance-wise, it looks great. I think this is a fantastic package all put together. So we'll go over some of the mods he also did. First off, everyone's going to want to know what's the power that the car made. And so he's done a couple of different tunes on it with different size pulleys. And so he has one that made 446 horsepower with 557 torque. That's incredible. And then the second one with the larger pulley, more of a safer tune, and made 402 horsepower, 511 torque. And this was all done at Moe's Speed in Dallas, Georgia. So they did the install and the tuning and everything. So let's go ahead and hear some of this because this sounds fantastic. So the Kenny Bell kit takes the original alternator and turns around backwards, and so he decided to go ahead and get a black one from LMR. It looks really nice, have that on the kit. So if you look at the pictures you can see that. He got the trick flow valve covers, and so those always look really good on there. He also went with a 75mm AccuFab throttle body. He did 373 gears, which are a great upgrade. The gears in these cars need to be addressed. The stock 327s and GTs are just really long, and so it really wakes the car up when you do gears. And so while he did that, he also added a Scott Drake cover for the differential. That looks really good. And while he was all in there, he decided to go ahead and do a new water pump. Got a Ford water pump for the car because he just wanted to do that for insurance purposes and not have to do that later down the road. And what you really can't see is the car has BBK long tube ceramic coated headers. It has a high flow X pipe. It has the JLT cold air intake with the 90mm lightning MAF. It has a McLeod clutch. And if you were looking at those really nice GT floor mats, you might have missed the pillar gauges, but I'm sure you probably caught those pillar gauges when we were looking at the interior earlier because they stand out and they look really good. Those are Autometer boost and air fuel ratio gauges, along with a Hurst shifter and a set of bullet pedals that he is still about to install in the car. So right now the car sits with 58,000 miles on it. It's a blast to drive. I think it's dialed in just right. It's been tuned. It has everything looking great on it. The only things he might want to do to it in the future are the bumper lettering in the rear bumper, the Mustang letters, maybe an aluminum drive shaft, and maybe cams one day. But he really loves this car. And I think it's a very good looking car. I think it's very well done. I've said that a lot in this video, but I really agree with all the choices he's done on this. And I just want to thank him as well for being so polite and kind. He's said some really nice things in the email. He said that he considers me the champion of the SN95s. That's very nice of him to say that. You know, he also said a lot of respectful things and said that he wanted to thank me for all I do to keep the SN95 Mustangs going and create content for them. So I really do appreciate that. And a lot of people who watch the channel say really nice comments like that, and I really appreciate everybody who does follow along and who supports my videos and watches them, and I'm very grateful for the community we've built together, and so I just want to thank everybody, including him, for that. But anyway, beautiful car, competition orange, very, very desirable. He's made it very nice. I think it's a great car, and it's very powerful. It does everything right. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.